Hey everyone, welcome to this video. So in today's video, I will talk about the key concept of virtualization and what VPS is and what is AWS Lightsail or Amazon Lightsail. So just going through the checklist, today's items are to understand the concept of virtualization, how virtualization enables cloud computing. Now this, I will leave it to you to go through the notes, but I will just give you a brief overview of concepts of virtualization, what VPS is, and an introduction to AWS Lightsail. Now, virtualization is the key foundation of cloud computing. Every resource that you see in the cloud is only there because of the functionality of virtualization. Now, virtualization helps in creating multiple resources of a physical resource, and let us understand with this presentation. So, first of all, let us understand what are the computing resources that you have. Now, if we talk about very basics, if you take your laptop, you are buying a hardware, right? That hardware will have some physical resource. That physical resource would be CPU, memory, network, and disk. Same thing applies for cloud as well. The physical resources are always the same. You will have CPU, you will have memory, you will have network, and you will have disk. There would be some auxiliary resources as well, but this is the key component of a computing resource. Now you might have a different type of CPUs, you might have a different type of memory, network, or disk, etc. But the foundation of computing is that you require these resources. Now if you talk about your laptop, on these physical resources, that is your hardware, you install some operating system, for example Windows XP or Windows, any Windows. And then on that Windows, you will install your application. Example, you want to play some music on your laptop and you are using a music player, maybe VLC or Windows Media Player, anyone. And once you use it, what happens? That application actually communicates with your operating system, and through operating system, it communicates to the hardware. Your application does not communicate directly to the hardware. And operating system facilitates the communication of application to the hardware, and it tells how to use that hardware. Now that's why operating system is so crucial, that it actually manages all the physical resources for you as well as for the application. Now if we talk about virtualization, virtualization is an act of creating a virtual resource of anything. Now when we talk about a physical resource, we can create some logical resource out of that physical resource. Now that process of creation of those logical resources is called virtualization. It also means abstraction, that you don't know what you are using that operating system, or you are using that virtual machine and you don't know where it is working, and it's abstracted to you. Now the concept is that when you have a physical resource, I will just give you an analogy. If you talk about using Uber, right, and you're going from point A to point B, there is an option in Uber where you can book a seat as well, where you can share with other Uber riders. So that seat is kind of virtualization of the complete car, where you can use only the seat because that's what you require, and you can share it with others. Now this is called virtualization of your commute. Similarly, your virtualization of computing resources, that you are able to take out some part of that physical resource and use it as per your requirement. Now what can you virtualize? You can virtualize your CPUs, so that you will have virtual CPUs. You will have virtual memory. You will have virtual network, or we call it network function virtualizations. And then you will have virtual storage, or in form of storage virtualization. You can have complete virtual machines, which we are talking about right now, which actually happens on the top of your physical resource. So let us understand the concept of virtual machines. So in case of virtual machine, you need multi-core processors. So on top of that multi-core processor, there are two ways you can virtualize. First is you install the host operating system, and then you install a piece of software that has the logic to create that virtual machines for you. Now this piece of software is called Hypervisor. It can be installed in two ways, either on top of an operating system or directly on the hardware. That makes the two types of software hypervisor available in the market. Now this hypervisor is also called virtual machine manager, and using that hypervisor you can create virtual machines. Now the advantage of virtual machine is increased utilization and isolation between virtual machine, which makes it great tool for testing as well, and easy scaling. You can scale up easily using virtualization. Now let us see one of the example of virtual machine where in the physical resource I have 16 CPUs, 128 GB memory and 100 TB of disk available. Now on top of using hypervisor, I've created two virtual machine. That is, I'm running Windows in one virtual machine and Linux on another virtual machine. And I've created virtual machine of 4 vCPUs, 32 GB memory and 10 TB. So you can see I've created a virtual machine depending upon my requirement from the available resource, and I can use it to have multiple types of operating system as well. Now this is types of hypervisor. There are two types of software hypervisor, that is type 1 and type 2. Type 0 is hardware based, which is not used anymore. Type 1 is where you use hypervisor as an operating system, and example is Linux KVM and VMware ESXi. Type 2 is where you install hypervisor as an application. You can use it as application. For example, if I show you, so this is a hypervisor called Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager, which actually helps you create virtual machines. So similarly, the type 2 hypervisor can help you create virtual machine, and it is installed as an application, and you can use it to create multiple operating system in your system. Now these are the virtualization project softwares like Zen project, VMware ESXi, KVM, Microsoft Hyper-V and QEMU. And AWS uses Zen and KVM both. Mostly it was using Zen, and they are also providing another hypervisor called Nitro as a service. So we can explore that as well. So this was related to virtualization. Let's come to VPS. So this VPS was getting your own virtual machine that was hosted by some hosting provider, and you can use it to host your website. So this is an extension to what AWS is providing in form of Lightsail. So VPS emulates kind of a functionality of dedicated physical server. You manage your operating system, you host your website, you host your database, you do everything, you manage your DNS, etc. So once we start working with VPS, we know a lot about how to host a website and how website work online. And AWS Lightsail is kind of an easy way to get started with VPS. Now, if you go into the market, you can buy VPS from many hosting providers. For example, this is from Hostinger, and you can see 1 GB RAM, 20 GB SSD disk space, 1 TB of bandwidth is around $4 per month, which is very cheap. Now, in $4 per month, you can host your complete website, and the important part is full root access. This is kind of an option in the market. And in fact, using VPS, you can build your own hosting company with this model. You can be a reseller of VPS provider, and you can start your own business as well. All right, let's come to Lightsail. So Lightsail is a VPS service where you can use it to create instances, containers, storage, database, and the best part is that it's a monthly price. So you know it has a fixed monthly price. You would know that monthly you have to pay this much amount for this service. It's not pay as you go, it is kind of monthly model. And the best part, and the other best part is that it is easy to use. It is not as complex as you can say other AWS services. So we will start from tomorrow with VPS, Amazon Lightsail. So from tomorrow we'll start with Amazon Lightsail, and we'll start creating our own instance, working on it, and then creating our own website using Amazon Lightsail. That's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow.